In the heart of Rajasthan, where desert dust painted the evening's gold, lived a young man named Arav. His small spice shop was the first to open and the last to close. The air around it was always thick with the fragrance of cardamom, turmeric, and dried chili smells he was too busy to ever truly enjoy. From the first ray of sunlight until the moon cast long shadows, Arav worked tirelessly. With every single rupee he earned, his only thought was to add it to a heavy steel trunk he kept locked under his bed. The metallic clink of a coin dropping inside was his only source of comfort. He made endless sacrifices. While his friends gathered at the chai stall laughing over hot, crispy samosas, Arav sat alone in his shop mending torn spice sacks. He wore the same faded blue kurta day after day, stitching it himself whenever it tore, his reflection showing a man who looked old before his time. He believed the growing pile of money was his greatest treasure, a fortress that would protect him from the harsh winds of fate. His grandfather Shankar, whom the entire village lovingly called Dadaji, often watched him from the shade of the large banyan tree in their courtyard. Shankar's eyes, wrinkled at the corners, held the deep calm of a desert oasis. He noticed the permanent lines of worry carved into Arav's forehead. The boy was so consumed by saving that he had slowly closed himself off from life. He never traveled to the nearby city of Jodhpur to see its famous blue houses, a dream he once spoke of as a child. He never learned a new skill, never took a day to simply sit with his family and share stories. His world was shrinking, becoming as small, dark, and motionless as the coins locked inside his trunk. One festive evening, a traveling puppeteer arrived in the village square. He unfurled a colorful backdrop and brought his wooden puppets to life. To the rhythmic beat of the dholak, a puppet king with a glittering crown and a queen with wide, expressive eyes danced and told ancient tales of love and bravery. The entire village watched in wonder, faces glowing in lantern light, hearts warmed by shared joy. After the show, the puppeteer announced he would stay for a week, offering to teach his beautiful art for a small fee. Arav felt a sudden, unexpected pull in his chest. The puppet seemed to speak directly to him. But the moment he thought of his steel trunk, the feeling vanished, replaced by familiar anxiety. Opening it to spend money on something that didn't promise returns felt like a wound. Habit defeated desire. He turned his back on the music and laughter and walked away, the magic fading behind him. That night, the silence in his room felt heavy. Arav sat beside his trunk, tracing its cold edges with his fingers. He had added a few more rupees, yet an emptiness spread inside him that money could not fill. Shankar entered quietly and sat beside him. "You are the hardest worker in this village, my son," he said gently. "You are building a great fortune." Arav nodded, pride flickering in his tired eyes. "I am saving for the future, Dadaji, so I will never have to worry." Shankar placed a warm hand on his shoulder. "That is a noble thought. But let me tell you about my own treasure. I also began with a small box of coins, but I learned something important early in life. Money must have a purpose. It should not sleep like a stone in a box. It should flow like a river, nourishing everything it touches." Shankar then shared his own story. He explained that whenever he saved a little money, he asked himself how it could grow into something meaningful. With his first savings, he did not buy gold. He traveled to another town to learn how to repair diesel water pumps, a vital skill in their dry land. It was difficult. He made mistakes. Once, he broke a valuable part and had to spend more than he earned to fix it, but he didn't give up. That skill became his livelihood and, more importantly, a way to serve others. "With the money I earned," Shankar continued, "I invested in myself again. I traveled to Udaipur. I saw its lakes and palaces and learned how people managed water. That knowledge was worth more than any coin." When he returned, he used what he learned to help the village build small check dams. Then he pointed toward the small, brightly lit building at the end of the lane. And that library was my biggest risk. I used much of my savings to build it and fill it with books. People called me foolish. But yesterday, a little girl who learned to read there wrote a letter for her grandmother to her son in the city. In that moment, I felt rich beyond measure. My money didn't sleep. It became knowledge, connection, and hope. Arav listened in silence. His grandfather's words slowly dismantled the fortress around his heart. He looked at his steel trunk and for the first time saw it clearly. It was not a treasure chest, it was a cage. By trapping his money, he had trapped his own spirit. The next morning, Arav woke before sunrise with a lightness he had not felt in years. He went straight to the puppeteer and paid the fee to learn the art. On his way back, he bought himself a bright yellow kurta. Wearing it, the world felt colorful again. He did not stop saving, but he changed its purpose. He divided his earnings into clay pots, one for needs, one for business, one for learning, and one simply labeled joy in giving. His life began to bloom. He learned to make puppets dance, and soon his small shows brought laughter to village children. He invested in his shop, buying fresher spices and a hand-painted cart. His shop became more than a place to buy masalas. It became a place where people gathered and shared stories. His money, now flowing, enriched his life and his village in ways a locked trunk never could. So if you ever find yourself obsessed with only saving and accumulating, remember Arav's story. Money is not meant to be hidden in fear. It is a powerful energy meant to be used to learn, to create, to connect, and to give. When money flows with purpose, it doesn't just build wealth, it builds a meaningful life. Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, please consider subscribing for more content like this. We'll see you in the next one.